The business failure, the blown meeting, the marriage that fell apart. These things didn't go the way you wanted, and it's frustrating and it's painful. It's hard to see anything good about it. Surely that's how Taylor Swift felt when she discovered that her masters had been sold to a hedge fund in 2019, and she lost control over how her music was distributed and marketed. There were many ways that Taylor could have responded to this. She could have raised millions of dollars to buy them for herself. She could have hired a lawyer to fight her battle. She could have let her frustration sour her on her old music and stopped playing it at concerts, alienating fans who loved those songs. Instead, in a career-defining moment, she calmed down to follow her own advice, and she decided to re-record her albums, redistributing them herself and republishing them to fans as Taylor's version. Of course, Taylor Swift was successful and popular before this, but because she's basically been releasing music nonstop for the last half decade, she became the center of culture, catapulting herself to a level of pop stardom not seen since the Beatles. Her Eras tour grossed more than $1 billion. Even the movie about the tour made hundreds of millions. And this was all possible because a new generation discovered her music and wanted to be part of her team and join in her fight. But it's not simply that she became bigger and more popular as a result, or that she seized control over something that was previously outside her control. It's that her songs got better, her concerts got better, she got better. And on top of all that, she made herself the underdog in the process. It's quite a move she pulled off, a level of career and public relations jujitsu without parallel. And it's also a remarkable example of taking something you never would have chosen, something you thought was profoundly unfair, and using it as fuel to find new potential within yourself. What we do after that thing happens to us is what matters. We get an opportunity to decide the end of each story. When jarred unavoidably by circumstances, revert at once to yourself, Marcus Aurelius writes in Meditations, and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help it. You'll have a better grasp of harmony if you keep going back to it. This story about Taylor Swift, how she turned the obstacle into the way, is actually one of the stories I wanted to add to the 10th anniversary edition of The Obstacle is the Way. I just thought it was so fascinating the way she outsmarted and outmaneuvered the music industry, which is notorious for taking advantage of artists. And I put that in the chapter, maybe you remember, about channeling your energy. Because she showed that we can redirect the negativity thrown at us into something positive for ourselves and others.